This episode is about the two biggest epiphanies that I had in search engine optimization. I've been doing SEO for a decade. I've done it for some of the biggest companies in the world: Nintendo, Microsoft, ADP, P&G, huge companies, lots of SMBs. Done it for many of my own companies. I love SEO. It's my favorite marketing channel. And the first epiphany is when I was first learning SEO. And the second epiphany changed everything and actually conflicted a bit with the first epiphany. The first epiphany is SEO 101. It's going to be quite basic for a lot of people. And the second epiphany is game-changing in the digital marketing industry. And it is what my product, Compact Keywords, is about. It is such a big deal. I've been making a product about it since April of this year. But I'm going to actually explain the epiphany. I am not recording this podcast to advertise my product. I am doing it because there was a Pareto of epiphanies in terms of what actually got results. So the first epiphany, it is one of the most basic things in search engine optimization, and it is the concept of domain authority. I read about backlinks for a while before learning about domain authority. And then I was reading this SEO 101 article, this beginner's guide to SEO from Moz. This is when I was very first starting so long ago. And I was reading this article and Moz was like, yeah, we have this thing called the Moz bar. And the Moz bar will tell you the domain authority of any website that you are on. Or if you go to Google's results, a Google results page, and you search something, it will show you the domain authority and the page authority of every site that shows up. So you can see correlations between domain authority and the rankings of websites. So a backlink is when one website links to another website. Backlinks are very valuable because they increase domain authority. Now, there are these things called no-follow backlinks, and these are supposed to not pass link juice, but oftentimes they still do. They're still beneficial. Either way, backlinks from other authoritative sites are really important, and they increase the authority of the sites that they are linking to, or just lots of backlinks in general. You want to have a mix of authoritative sites linking to you and non-authoritative sites linking to you. And as you do it, your domain authority goes up. So Moz has a score. It's called domain authority. It's a 1 to 100 score. Ahrefs has what is called domain rating, 1 to 100, but they measure mostly the same things. And before I learned about domain rating from Ahrefs, I learned about domain authority from Moz. Same things. Their algorithms are a bit different, but they're also very similar. And so I remember how fascinated I was with this. And I would Google things and I would see all these sites with high domain authorities ranking well, but then I would turn into Detective Edward. I would do Detective SEO or a Detective Edward on the scene. And I would see some sites that had low domain authorities, but were still showing up really high for keywords above sites that had really high domain authorities. And I would try to figure out why. And I didn't know about Epiphany Number Two at the time. So the conclusion that I saw, and this really was the case for a lot of these keywords because I was searching top of funnel keywords, which are more competitive. I was mostly looking at more competitive keywords. And what I would see is again and again and again, the pages with low domain authority websites that were ranking above high domain authority websites, those pages had a lot of links going to the individual pages. And oftentimes they would have exact match anchor text. Anchor text is the text that goes over a hyperlink. A hyperlink is a link. It's if you say click here and here is linked, here is the anchor text. So they would use exact match keywords for the anchor text. So if your keyword was how to do SEO in 2014, people would link to this how to do SEO article in 2014 with that anchor text. Or maybe you're looking for best vacuum cleaners, and then people would use that as the anchor text. And I would see that from low authority sites that were just building good links with exact match anchor text, and they would rank above high domain authority sites for exploratory keywords, for top of funnel keywords where there's a lot of traffic. I would see that, but overall, the lesson that I came away with at that time for Epiphany Number One was, wow, SEO is really just, it's like a high school popularity contest. And I would teach SEO at various places around New York City. And I would teach everyone. I would say, listen, SEO 101, The algorithm is a popularity contest. And I would use, for that slide, I still remember that slide, I would have a picture of Mean Girls as a slide. But that's what it felt like, because the most popular sites have the easiest time ranking. And that's still the case. You saw that recently with Forbes and lots of huge publishers where they are, quote unquote, abusing their high domain authority to rank for really highly trafficked keywords, top of funnel keywords, and then they are jamming these articles with affiliate links. And this has become so pervasive within big publishers, Forbes, CNN, USA Today, The Telegraph, all of these ones, many more. It's become so pervasive that Google literally had to add a clause in its webmaster guidelines called Site Reputation Abuse Policy. And this says, if you have a really high domain authority and you're like a big publisher, you can go after these keywords, you can put in affiliate links, but you can't use a third party to do it. And if you do, it needs to be highly audited by your own staff and by your own team. And a lot of these publishers, they're not doing that. They're doing it in the laziest way possible. They're going through a third party. The third party is doing it within Forbes, actually. For all of these articles, Forbes owns a minority stake in these articles, and the third party owns a majority stake. But this is even possible. You see Forbes ranking for best cockroach removal services because it has such a high domain authority. I think Forbes also ranks for like best CBD gummies. All of these crazy keywords that are not related to business or technology for what Forbes is known for. And these affiliate articles are making up over 50% of Forbes revenue now. Again, Forbes can do this because it has such high domain authority. Would you like to guess what Forbes' domain authority is? I'm going to guess 92 out of 100. I don't know. I'm checking right now. I'm going to Forbes.com and I am pulling it up. 94 out of 100. Oh, wow. So there we go. And I realized SEO was a popularity contest. And so my realization too was build brands. Build brands, not just backlinks, build brands, and brands get backlinks. Build brands that you stick with over time because they become more authoritative. Backlinks don't just increase domain authority. The amount of time a site has been active for, that also increases domain authority. So stick with projects and build brands. Now, I wasn't the best at sticking with projects, as many people listening know. I've done many different things. I myself suffered a little bit from shiny object syndrome, and I talk about that all the time on the show. I'm very against shiny object syndrome, but I really didn't know it any better many years ago. But the thing is, when you stick with a brand and you're doing marketing for it, it's naturally going to get links. Or you can just keep doing link building every year and it's just going to keep on increasing in domain authority. And so eventually you can go after more competitive terms. But that was the first big epiphany. It was looking through the search results and seeing all these high domain authority sites ranking for highly competitive keywords. And this is really SEO 101. This is one of the most basic things in SEO. But I felt like it was so important that everybody should know about it. I remember thinking, wow, this is so crazy, seeing the way that the internet works. Everyone should know about this. And I would send the Mozbar to my friends and just say, do a couple of searches and see how these numbers match up with what you're seeing. And most people, when they search, when they're going to do test searches or when they're going to put in searches, they're not going to put in crazy long tail keywords. They're going to put in head keywords. And these head keywords are the most competitive keywords. And so realizing the importance of domain authority, it just emphasized how much I love brand building. It's algorithmic brand building. That is what domain authority is. Now, lots of people game it, and I talk about that all the time on this show. In fact, Lars Lofgren just came on one of my episodes, on episode number 470. He talked about ABC link exchanges, which is one of the many black hat ways of doing link building, building backlinks. Many people game it, and I talk about that all the time. But for me, what is most fun is building a legitimate brand that can just get huge, that has top of mind awareness, that becomes a brand name and increases click-through rate in the search engine results pages. And when you focus on that, you're naturally going to build links, especially when you have a lot of your content on your site or when you're putting a lot of things on your site and people know that the things are there. All right, so domain authority, that was Epiphany number one. And now Epiphany number two kind of got in the way of domain authority. And it came a lot later. It came in October 2019. I had just left Kiev, Ukraine, and I was in Minsk, Belarus. It was still my first, it was like 6 months since I had left the United States traveling through Europe. And then I fell in love with digital nomading after that. Before Kiev, I was in Berlin, Vienna, Prague, Dansk. Then I went to Kiev. Then I went to go visit a friend in Minsk. After Minsk, I was going to go to Budapest, but there were no flights. I had missed a flight on the date I needed to leave. So there was a flight to Krakow, and I went there instead. And actually, that place was lit. Krakow was great. But so what happened was when I was in Kiev, me and one of my co-founders, we launched a project called Reverb, and Reverb has now become pretty successful. I launched it on Beta List and on Product Hunt, and that was good for us. That actually got us a bunch of backlinks. Launching on Beta List and Product Hunt or launch platforms, there are launch platforms in many industries. Beta List and Product Hunt are great for technology, but launching on launch platforms can really help you get awareness, and that awareness can lead to backlinks. And that's what happened with Reverb. A lot of schools and teachers found us useful. We were included in EdTech blogs. So we just naturally got backlinks from launching on Beta List and Product Hunt. But I didn't really know what to do with this domain authority. I didn't want to go after top of funnel keywords. The thing about going after top of funnel keywords, and I have a whole section about this in Compact Keywords. I was literally editing it today. This landing page for Compact Keywords, by the way, it is not a sales page. It is like an educational page about bottom of funnel SEO. And so what I wrote is top of funnel, non-compact keywords. They have higher search volumes, and they're recommended by a lot of SEOs for this reason. They look sexy. But in reality, top of funnel keywords, they require 2,000 to 3,000 words to rank for. They require a lot of link building to rank for, especially a lot of top of funnel keywords now are competitive, and they don't convert immediately. So if you want to rank for a high volume top of funnel keyword, this is basically the process. You spend a lot of time, effort, and money making this 2,000 to 3,000 word article. A lot of people will call this the skyscraper technique. And then the article doesn't rank as fast as you hoped, especially if you don't have an immediate distribution channel. And now also even more so with Google's 2024 March update, which has sent so much top of funnel traffic to Reddit, Quora, and many user-generated content platforms. But either way, the article is probably not going to rank as fast as you hoped, or even at all, even if it is 2,000 to 3,000 words. So then you're going to initiate a link building campaign, building links to that article, because you're probably not Forbes. You probably don't have 94 out of 100 domain authority. So you're going to build links to that top of funnel article. And then if you do everything right, the article is going to rank. So this is if it ranks now. It will bring a bunch of traffic, but now you have to squeeze conversions from that top of funnel traffic. So you got to capture people's emails. You got to set up automations. You need to build trust with a newsletter. Maybe you have a drip campaign. Maybe you're remarketing to people who hit that top of funnel article. Whatever it is, it's still top of funnel. These are people who don't know what they want, and they're just kind of trying to learn about something. And I didn't want to do that. I've done that before many times, but I didn't want to do that. It takes so much time. And then I came across, and this is why I mentioned I was in Minsk in Belarus when I found this. So we launched Reverb when I was living in Kiev. And I think it was a few weeks before I left for my first time in Kiev. And then I'm in Minsk and I'm sitting there and I'm like, my co-founder's depending on me. How am I going to get people to use this thing? And we had a surge of users from Product Hunt and Beta List. But, eventually it dies off, especially if you don't immediately have product market fit. And we didn't immediately have product market fit, but I still wanted to get people to use it. And I knew that I could get people to use it even without huge product market fit. And I came across, as I was sitting there in Minsk, I came across this website called Bitrix24, bitrix24.com. And in their footer, they have this thing called a uses page. And in their uses page, they have all of these very specific purchase intent keywords. And that's kind of what I noticed. It's just a list of all these very specific purchase intent keywords, /uses, bitrix24.com /uses. And what was so crazy to me was at the time, Bittrex didn't have crazy high domain authority, but it was ranking for so many of these super specific purchase intent keywords. And what do I mean by purchase intent? It's not just purchase intent, it's also use intent, because a lot of their keywords have the word free in them. People who are looking for free tools. But at least then someone is actually becoming a user. And it's a lot easier to turn an existing user into a customer than it is to turn someone who doesn't even know anything about the niche or what they want into a user or a customer. In this case, it's get someone to become a user and then sell them on extra features that are relevant to their interests, or gatekeep some of the most useful features. So for example, actually, I embed my entire Instagram feed on edwardsturm.com. And it used to be my TikTok feed. When I started with my TikTok feed, I switched to Instagram because I'm bigger on Instagram now. Even though I just hit 100,000 followers on TikTok today, congratulations me. Thank you everybody for following me. But I started with the TikTok feed. And I Googled embed TikTok feed in blog. And I came across a website called SociableKIT. And I wanted to embed my TikTok feed on my blog on edwardsturm.com, or maybe it was embed TikTok feed in website. Maybe that's what I searched. But I came across SociableKIT. That's a bottom of funnel search term, by the way, because I knew what I wanted and I didn't know the brand that was going to give it to me. So I come across this page for this product that can do exactly what I am looking for. However, if you want to embed your TikTok feed on your website without the SociableKIT watermark, you got to pay. If you want to customize how the feed looks to match your website, you got to pay. And I'm like, you know what? This does exactly what I want. I'm going to pay for it. And it was $60. I just bought the annual plan just like that, $60 for the annual plan. And that was several years ago. I paid again. So now they've gotten $120 for me. I'll tell you what, I'm going to pay again next year. I don't see myself not paying for this anytime soon. So they got me with a bottom of funnel keyword paying $60 every year for a page with not a lot of text on it. So here's the thing about these bottom of funnel SEO landing pages. You don't need a very high domain authority to rank for them because they're not competitive terms. They have very low search volumes. So they're overlooked. They have very low search volumes. They're overlooked. Because they are so overlooked, they're really non-competitive. And all you need to do is create a page called the name of the keyword. And then you gotta put the keyword in the URL, the first sentence at the beginning of the first sentence, in the H1, in the meta description. I say all of this in, I have an article on my site. It's called Pareto SEO. It is the 20% of SEO that matters, the 20% of things to do that will get you 80% of results. And I say this right there, how to target keywords with a dedicated page. Put your target keyword in the page title, meta description, URL, H1, and beginning of the first sentence. And so you do that with one of these bottom of funnel keywords. The page only really requires around 415 words of text. I share that on the Compact Keywords landing page too. So these are not 2,000 to 3,000 word pages, 3,000 plus word pages. You can actually templatize sections and reuse them across pages. And then your pages tend to rank faster. And you don't have to do link building for most of these pages because these keywords are not competitive. So you don't actually have to build links to the individual pages. You can build links to your domain as a whole. And a rising tide lifts all boats. As your domain authority increases, as you become more authoritative in your niche, all your pages start ranking better. But the thing is, let me actually explain just how crazy this is. I even came across a site that was ranking for hundreds of bottom of funnel keywords. It was using programmatic SEO. It was ranking for hundreds of bottom of funnel keywords, and its domain authority was either 12 out of 100 or 8 out of 100. You can literally use boostbenchmark.com. I'm an affiliate of this product, and it is a list of directories, some of the best directories to use. And you literally can use boostbenchmark.com. I think it's like $64 or something. And you get this list of directories, and in a few hours, you submit your site to these directories, and these directories will be enough if you have no domain authority to get you to 20 domain authority. And this site was ranking for all these bottom of funnel keywords with either 8 or 12 domain authority. So my next epiphany, it was 2019, and it was, you actually don't need crazy high domain authority, and it's way better to go after use intent and purchase intent keywords. These bottom of funnel keywords, which I now call compact keywords, but it's way better to go after these. And so I started doing this. In fact, actually, if you have any SEO tool and you just go to see what reverb.chat is ranking for, you will see all of these pages that I made in 2020. And it worked. I've done it for so many sites. And it's crazy because you literally get qualified traffic sometimes from enterprises or people representing thousands of customers, or just a lot of like a huge purchase order. So actually, I taught a friend of mine, his name is Dominic. I taught him this technique. He was amazed because I showed him my Google Search Console. I showed him our traffic, and he was just amazed how well it worked. And this was back in 2020, and he's one of my best friends in the world. I wasn't active on TikTok. I wasn't active on Instagram. I wasn't thinking of turning this into a product, and he was a great friend and mentor to me. And so I taught him this. And at the time, he was working with a market leader in the finance niche. So I showed him this stuff, and he's like, okay, I'm going to do this with this company that I'm working with. And he told me this was literally a few days ago. He's like, yeah, I spent 2 days doing this with this company with just like a few of these pages, literally just created a few pages. And he went back and he was looking at what they were ranking for. And he's like, oh man, these pages literally have made them like an extra $3 million a year with under 2 days of work. And I'm like, Dominic, can I use this as a testimonial on my landing page? And so literally he wrote this testimonial 5 minutes later, and now it's at the top of the landing page for compactkeywords.com. But that's how crazy it is. These keywords, these bottom of funnel keywords, can represent huge high ticket items or thousands, tens of thousands of users. And they convert really well because the people who are searching them, who come across these pages, they are looking for exactly these pages. I say this all the time. Unlike the people who are top of funnel, the people who are searching for bottom of funnel keywords, they know exactly what they want. They just don't know the brand that is going to give it to them. And so that was my second big epiphany, and that really changed everything. It was no longer a Boolean, you just need a lot of domain authority or links to pages. It wasn't that at all. It was, you can be smart with the keywords that you go after, and it will require a lot less work, a lot less. Like, you can't even compare it. And the crazy thing, these keywords have not been disrupted by AI, by Google's helpful content update, by Google's March update, because all of these updates, and especially AI, a lot of these are for top of funnel queries, top of funnel keywords, and not bottom of funnel. And actually, it's so crazy. Like if you look at the landing page, my traffic to my bottom of funnel SEO landing pages have only increased. It's only increased. So this was the second biggest epiphany. It's go after bottom of funnel keywords. Here, I'm going to give some examples of bottom of funnel versus not bottom of funnel. And this is from the Compact Keywords landing page. So this is a top of funnel keyword, non-compact. This is a top of funnel keyword. What is collaboration software? This is going to have almost no direct conversions. It is completely exploratory. Now here's middle of the funnel, enterprise collaboration software. It's exploring a bit, but it's not specific enough. The searcher is still trying to learn about this. The searcher is trying to learn about collaboration software for large companies. So it's not really bottom of funnel. Now here is bottom of funnel. Collaboration software with intuitive learning. That is purchase intent. That is gold. The searchers know what they are looking for. They just don't know the brand that will give it to them. And the conversion rate on keywords like this is super high. If they come across a page that is called collaboration software with intuitive learning, it's most likely going to have the things that they are looking for because it was designed for that keyword. And keywords like this, they don't have a lot of search volume. They're so often overlooked. So they rank fast. There's not a lot of competition. You don't need a lot of work. And that was the second big epiphany. So first big epiphany was SEO 101, domain authority. Second big epiphany was you actually don't need domain authority. You don't need a lot of it. Now, for compact keywords, for bottom of funnel keywords, there are some bottom of funnel keywords that are really competitive, that do have a lot of traffic behind them, that a lot of search volume behind them. These typically are shorter keywords with less words, but they can still be bottom of funnel. These keywords, these bottom of funnel keywords that do have a lot of search volume, those will be more competitive. And then those will require higher domain authority to rank for. But the thing is, so many bottom of funnel keywords with only 0 to 10 search volume, so many of these keywords can still result, and I see this myself all the time, in huge purchase orders and represent hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of users. In fact, I made an episode literally on this. It was called High Leverage Keywords. That's episode 420, High Leverage Keywords. High leverage keywords are keywords that represent more than one acquisition. And there are lots of these ones. So if you're going after super high volume bottom of funnel keywords, then domain authority is going to help a lot more. But most of the keywords that you're going to target, they're going to be super non-competitive, crazy overlooked. And that was the second epiphany. I put this into action more times than I can count. I have seen now dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of so many websites doing this. And I made a landing page entirely about it. If you want to learn more about bottom of funnel SEO, go to compactkeywords.com. But those are the two biggest SEO epiphanies that I had, the Pareto of SEO epiphanies. Anyway, I've been recording for a while now, for 38 minutes. I wonder how much this podcast is going to be cut down to. When I started recording, it was still pretty sunny outside, and now I am watching a beautiful, beautiful sunset from this apartment, which I probably will not be in for much longer. I'm going to miss it. There's a plane flying to my left. The sky is orange and pink and turquoise. Oh gosh, it's a nice day. Today was a great day. I hope it was a great day for you too. Hit 100,000 followers on TikTok. TikTok was my first social media channel where I went really hard on social media and with video, as in like making these videos every day. I started, before I found any success on Instagram, I started on TikTok, November 1st, 2022. And I was making videos to show what I was working on. I wanted to do build in public, but build in public was very, it's basically the same concept. Build in public was very competitive on Twitter or on X, where I was trying to do it. But actually, I was trying to do it before Elon Musk bought Twitter, and it was very competitive. It was taking so much work. And so I had this theory. What if I did build in public where I'm showing updates on what I'm working on in my companies? What if I do that instead on TikTok? I bet it's less saturated there. And so I searched build in public on TikTok. I didn't really see a lot. I said, all right, I'm going to do it on TikTok instead of on Twitter. I created my name, build in public, on TikTok because I was angry that I was doing so poorly getting into the build in public community on Twitter. And so I wanted to make it, if you search build in public on TikTok, I show up number one. And then within a few weeks, I did. I showed up number one when you search build in public on TikTok. Of course, I'm still number one for that. I had no idea that almost 2 years later, I would still be doing it. And it's really cool. I have fought now shiny object syndrome. I fought it away, and it's crazy. 100K on TikTok, because it feels cool. It feels good. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Hope this episode was valuable. Bottom of funnel SEO is the most overlooked thing in digital marketing and one of literally the most powerful things in digital marketing. I believe that my product is going to change the entire industry. I think it is that groundbreaking. Or people who are just doing it themselves. The technique is that groundbreaking. I am the only person that I know of who has actually turned it into a product. So I hope this episode was fun. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.